Well, welcome everybody. I'm Russell Hill. I'm the host of WTF, and that's What the FixedOPS to All You. And today I'm joined also by...
Hello, everyone. I'm Charity. I'm your co-host today, and we are excited to have Paul Daly and Kyle Mountsier on the show with us today. They're from ASOTU. Guys, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Well, Paul, why don't you start us off? Tell us about ASOTU. How did that come about, and how did that dream become a reality?
I mean, it's a real kind of entrepreneurial COVID era story. ASOTU, by the way, stands for Automotive State of the Union. Basically, lockdowns just happened. Nobody knew what to do. Every state was doing something different. So dealer and inventory and all the things. And I just noticed that when dealers were, I was on Zoom calls with them because I have an agency. And when that was the case, everyone seemed to feel better when they were just talking about what's going on in their area. So one night I was brushing my teeth, thinking how I could help scale that feeling. And so I just said, I'm going to do a live stream. I'm going to call it something official and an Automotive State of the Union to trick people into thinking it's an actual thing. And had a designer design a logo that had, presidential stars flying in. It looked super official. Started inviting people to be guests on the show and or introducing me to people I wanted to be guests. And we had everybody from Rhett Reichert at the time was the chairman of NADA through the rank and file of all the well-known dealers and even media personalities. We had a 4-hour live stream where I sat at a desk and interviewed people on LinkedIn Live. Thousands of people showed up and started to realize like, hey, this is something that people are craving. Our mantra back then was when dealers band together, no crisis can win. So it was a very like a rally cry kind of thing. Eventually, I met Kyle. We kept doing these events. And the next year we said, you know what? I think we should turn this into an organization. Well, Kyle and I both had that kind of epiphany. Raised some money from some startup funds from 8 dealer investors, all dealers who believed that this needed to happen. And we went in and there you go. We kept building, we kept growing. And now it's, a full-fledged media company with daily shows and podcasts, a show on Amazon Prime called More Than Cars and a live event every year. And really the center principle of all of it has become, these are the people that believe thriving people are the unlock and the key to thriving profits and thriving business, which is why, we say it's on my shirt right now, more than cars.
More than cars.
Love people more than you love cars, more than cars for short. And here we are.
Oh, what a great story. Kyle, ASOTU Con is coming up soon, coming in May. What makes this year different from other years?
Yeah, I think it kicks off tomorrow. So we'll have our welcome reception tomorrow night. And we've been doing this 4 years now, and we just have a passion for bringing people together and increasing the speed of trust and connection. I'm really excited about Claude Silver kicking us off. She's the chief heart officer of VaynerMedia and that media empire. If you know Gary Vee and everything that they're into, they're a global organization, and she's had impact both within their company, but also at a global level. And so we love to bring those like outside perspectives in, which is a big thing. But the other piece, we really take a lot of time and care into the atmosphere, the way it feels to engage in the space. And so things like how we organize the breakout stages. So we don't just put projectors on tables at the front of the room and, hope the speaker is loud enough, but we bring dynamic energy to every single space. We uniquely design everything all the way down to the booth layouts intentionally and make sure that it feels cutting edge. And we take a lot of cues from things like South by Southwest and some of the most progressive, activation minded conferences out there. And we'll have, a few hundred of your favorite friends hanging out all together.
I'm gonna add to that because I've watched you guys, everything change. And when you guys came on the scene, you're everywhere now. There's not anybody that I know. This is my 40th year in the business. I'm 16 years on the retail side, running stores, and the vendor side for the remaining. And it's like, I don't even know if you remember me saying this, but when I met you guys and we interacted a little bit last year at ASOTU Con, I have them dangling, and I'm missing. I don't know how. I've been to so many conferences, so many of these things the best I've ever been to and enjoyed was ASOTU Con last year. And I have no doubt that it will be exactly the same this year as well. So for all you listening out there, you'll still hear this in time. You need to buy tickets and get out there because it is
It's
amazing.
not too late.
No,
It's not too late.
Oh, we actually sold a lot and issued a lot of tickets at the door last year.
Did you?
Yeah. The main event days, the 14th and the 15th. So, I mean, there's a welcome reception the 13th, but a lot of people, one of the reasons we like the location, it's in just south of Baltimore, is that like the 2 or 3 hour driving radius of that area is a lot of people.
Yep.
So well, listen, I love the venue. It's really close up front, personal. My wife didn't get to come last year. She usually travels with me. She just retired automotive space after 32 years as a controller, but she's excited. Plus, she loves staying in casinos too, which is really kind of, huh?
That's great that she's coming.
Yeah, it's exciting. I can't, and I know you guys are going to be busy, and if the time's appropriate and right, I'll certainly,
You better. We'll be upset if you don't introduce.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, go ahead, Cherry.
Sorry, Russell. So is there, Paul, let me ask you this. Is there any noteworthy news about ASOTU Con this year? Is there any special speakers or high level topics that you want to?
Yeah, I think trying to think of like what's considered noteworthy or not. We always put so much time and energy into keeping it very, very fresh. Our opening keynote this year is Claude Silver, the Chief Heart Officer of VaynerMedia. A lot of people know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, or Gary V. Claude is basically his right-hand person in scaling the organization and the people side. And she's had so much experience working with top-level brands globally, a lot of retail brands. So she has extensive retail experience, but she also has extensive people experience, and she understands what it is to take a fast-moving, high-paced retail environment and how you can help people thrive within that. So that's going to be like a rocket ship start to the event. We also have so many things going on, and you can see the agenda, but we also have Pitch Tank, which is so much fun. And Kyle spearheads the Pitch Tank, where we have a lot of startups and new companies, products pitching to some of the most experienced, reputable VCs in the industry. And Steve Greenfield will also be moderating. I don't know, Kyle, is he moderating some of those?
Not in Pitch Tank, but the next day he's speaking on the keynote stage. And Steve is just, like, in my opinion, the foremost insight on the future of what automotive is looking like and how to approach
Indeed.
that. But then immediately after that, he's going to be moderating a panel with 4 VCs talking about the future of automotive tech and like what those people are looking at, what they're looking for, what they see on the horizon, how dealers, industry partners can interact. And I think that one right there, it'll be huddles around that conversation. Yeah.
The hardest part about ASOTU Con, for sure, is like, which thing are you going to miss? Right now, we have the main stage content at the beginning and the end of the day, but all of the breakout panels could be on the main stage. Basically, the content's that good. And so it's always like, Kyle and I are always like, upset what we're going to miss. Like, oh, I can't go to that one. Oh, absolutely. I want to moderate that one. Oh, so it really is like one of those events where you do have to pick what you want to go to, but you won't be disappointed no matter what you pick. We're also giving away a few more cars this year with Vehicles for Change. That's always a super fun
thing. That was phenomenal.
And so FixedOPS is close to my heart. I started in the FixedOPS side of the business as a service advisor and built a reconditioning company. But what Marty and the team is doing at Vehicles for Change, where they take formerly incarcerated folks, train them to be certified technicians with 100% placement rate. And then when people donate vehicles to them to work on, they recondition the cars. They retail some of them to help fund the program, but they give a lot of them away to people who are in need. So last year we were able to get together a sponsored vehicle to give to a single mother and her kids, which was unbelievable. Right?
I got emotional. That was,
everybody got emotional.
Yeah.
I think everybody did. It was a cool moment. And so we're going to do more of that. So it is really just going to be a full throttle 2 days that we hope people leave inspired and energized, when typically you leave a conference kind of exhausted and overwhelmed. We're trying to have people leave out of there with a vision of how it can be better, how it can be greater, and inspired and ready to implement a lot of the things that they thought. And we really craft the whole trajectory of the event to leave people in an inspired state instead of like kind of like it's tough to not leave a conference because they kind of typically sputter to a close.
Yep.
And everybody knows what that means. So we're trying to do our best to push back against the internal programming of people when they go to a conference to think that, oh, it gets worse or it gets, and people are, what's the best day? And we're like, I couldn't.
Yeah. You guys get so involved in that. And it wasn't that way for me. The people I engaged with, and yes, there was breakouts. I wanted to see every one of them. There was no way it could happen, but it was up close and personal. So, people I knew that I haven't met yet, I got a chance to meet. There was nobody after me, or I didn't go out. It's not a place to suitcase and pitch to people. It's not that whatsoever. It's a place to gather some of them and listen to some of the most proficient people in the industry on the cutting edge. It's just when I said I can't even, probably 30 or 40 over the years. I'm depleted on digital dealers. I'm depleted at NADA and all the other events that I've been to. I was on fire. I was passionate. I was ready to go. And I expect nothing less than that again this year from you guys and what you do.
Awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's coming up. So go ahead.
Right,
Charity, yeah.
Kyle, tell me, what are dealers interested in learning about this year? And conversely, what long-running topics are no longer interesting for dealers that maybe we should set aside? Great
question, Charity.
Yeah, there's always the hot button like topics, and people are asking questions around tariffs and any acronym that you want to write on a board, like a CDP or AI or anything like that.
Big stuff. Yep.
I'm noticing that, I keep saying this thing, like in 2007, 8, 9, we started to really realize that digital advertising was happening and that everybody was like, oh, great. We're finally going to know everything from front to back, and digital is going to save us all. And we're all going to know everything about every client, every customer, every interaction, all that type of stuff. And we've been working for, 18 years now. And we're still kind of like, I think the data tells us something.
Yeah, it does.
And
still
for the most part,
of my
we know some more, right? Like we know some more. And I would hope that is, but like, there's still a ton of waste in dig ad spend. There's still a ton of waste in in-person type stuff. There's still a ton of waste in building resourcing. But I think what we're noticing in the trend is the sooner people recognize that whatever those data points are, get traced back to people and like what people are doing in your organization, the speed of innovation, the speed of customer trust, the speed of growth is a lot higher, right? We were having a conversation earlier this week that it's like, okay, I can have incredible business processes, incredible business thesis, and a ton of inventory and still fail, right?
Yeah.
But there are so many that have pretty poor processes, that have pretty poor marketing, that their website still stinks, that know how to cultivate and promote and culture build, that end up figuring it out. Like they're people just like they figure it out. Like they have the worst marketing. They're spending $5,000 a month on their dealer name and wasting that money down the hole.
Right.
And somehow the people are still making a profitable business out of it. And I think that's how I'm kind of, it's like all of that gets overlaid by a different thing. And so I think people are starting to actually figure that out in the automotive industry. And you're seeing a lot more of those conversations happening. So
absolutely. Yeah. It's moving very, very fast. AI is going to play a huge part in that, more than most of us can realize. So I try to absorb as much as I possibly can, but only with the people that have, if the branches are bare, au contraire, I don't go there. They got to have some real fruit on the tree because my time is valuable. Your time is valuable. And it's like, the naysayers and look, you can't go where you want to go, remain where you're at. And if it's really when I started selling cars in 85, the average salesperson sold 10. And I believe that's what it is today in 2025. And it's like, okay, we have all this technology. We're not going to get off on we certainly could. But one of the about ASOTU Con is the people that are on the cutting edge. If you're not every day waking up and inputting new information, I'm going to tell you in 30 days, I know exactly what the results are going to be at your dealership based upon the last 30 days, unless you input new information by what you read, what you listen to, and who you associate with. Those are the things that are going to determine a different tomorrow. And that is probably the most profound thing I got at ASOTU Con.
I mean, that the comment that you made about like the people who are there, really that is the feature of ASOTU Con.
No doubt.
We have the stage and the screens and all that, but when you very similarly to the very beginning of ASOTU, when you like put the thesis out there, this is what we believe in, that these types of people get together here, you get the community together and everyone already has, it's like, you know, like I ride a motorcycle and you wave to all the other people that ride a motorcycle. Right? Have a similar,
exactly.
That, right? Or if you park next to one, right, you can immediately talk. Or if they have the, watch out for motorcycles bumper sticker on their car, you already have this common ground. So when you come to ASOTU Con, right out of the gate, everyone has this common ground of like, we believe a lot of the same things. And so what you don't get is all of the, I'll call them pleasantries, but all of the small talk that people do in order to feel out like, do I actually want to talk to you more or not? You don't get that at ASOTU Con. You get conversations that happen from the very beginning with people that are eager to share and learn the best practices. And so the people and the crowd that we assemble at ASOTU Con, I believe, is the highest value audience in the auto industry. Not necessarily, we do have some of the highest performers, but even if you go to other rooms that may have higher store counts or more notoriety, what you're going to find at ASOTU Con are the highest value people who are moving the ball forward, whether you know about them or whether you don't. And I think that aside from any programming, is the value most people walk away with. Because I led a panel to last year where all three of the panelists had a greater than 85% retention rate in service.
Wow.
Greater than 85% retention rate.
I'm telling you, that's like the top 3%, right? Because
yeah.
And they're all together.
Three of the panelists sitting in one room.
He didn't know it, but they're saying it. I was like, what?
It blew my mind.
What?
I was like, you do what?
Those are the people you want to hear from. Those are the people you want to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
They've normalized a level of excellence that most people only aspire to. And when you get around more people that normalize that level of performance, the funny thing is you start to perform that way as well. Like you have to play with athletes that are better than you if you want to get better. Right. And then all of a sudden you're all playing at the same level. So
it's really amazing. Yeah, it's amazing you say that, because I referenced this thing I learned from my mentor a long time ago. He said, Russell, 95% of the population gets their information from the same 95% of the population that has what they have or less than what they have, and they wonder why they don't have any more. And that is really so true, because if you associate with people that are looking forward, you just speed it. And if you're not, you're listening to people talking about all the past, all the negativities. It's like I can't even be around those
people, right? People talking about other people.
Yeah. Oh my God.
If you're around people, I'll just a little aside here. If you're around people that the majority of what they do is talk about other people, like it's the wrong group.
Let me guess. At this very moment, another vendor is walking up to your lot with something shiny to sell. Before you head back and hide in your office, let me take a minute to tell you about my friend Dawn Pelham and my friends over at Global Dealer Solutions. They exist to help you find solutions to problems, some of which you might not even know you have. Best of all, they can manage as many products and services as needed for you, helping cut down on multiple vendor visits and distractions. And if you need anything, you have one number to call or text for the response all dealers like to hear. On it, GDS understands that successful dealerships require more than a set it and forget it mentality. And they'll be with you every step of the way, from setup, implementation, training, and support. And if necessary, they'll even cancel non-performing products for you. No pushback, no arguments, just a solutioneer executing course corrections as needed. Check out gdsdealers.com to learn the difference and set up a time to meet. Let's see if they're a good fit for you.
Yep.
You know,
No doubt.
if you're around people who are talking about ideas,
Yes.
this is what I'm doing, and not about other people, then you're around the right group. So
Yeah.
I'll tell
That's
you.
that's what inspires me. That's
Yeah,
what inspires you and the people that are. Yeah.
In those circles, when you start talking about a person, it's usually a person who's excelling, and the conversation is like, how can we be more like them?
Imagine that instead of trying to take them down a notch.
Can you believe they did this? Like, I'm just allergic to that.
Hey, thanks. It sounds great, but I gotta go. I can't listen to it. I got to make an excuse to get out. I just can't listen to it. I'll try to move them in a different direction. And if not, I love them where they're at and move on down the road. It's just not the right time.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're just not ready for it.
Paul, tell us about your EV road trip. How'd that go and what did you learn from it?
Oh, man.
Boy.
Uh-oh.
It was an amazing, amazing experience. I've been dancing around the idea of buying an EV for years. Every time I travel, I would rent one so I could have, the driving experience. And every time I've driven one, I've been like, this is a superior driving experience. The handling of the vehicle, the acceleration, the control, I just have loved it. So eventually I was like, I think my next car needs to be an EV. And so I went on, I started researching, and I started like, what would be the right fit and all my criteria. I ended on an F-150 Lightning, never owned a pickup truck, but I've always wanted one. And, as I looked through and like price was the thing, I ended up with an F-150 Lightning Platinum Edition, a 2022, which new was $100,000. I bought it with 23,000 miles on it for $45,000.
Wow.
And it's like a brand new truck. I flew to Charlotte to pick it up from Capital Ford, who did a fantastic job. I flew there and I said, I'm going to drive back with my son. We're going to get this charging experience. It has a stated range of about 300 miles per charge. And so I made sure they had it 100% when I got there, and we just started our way home. And it was, it's probably in a nice vehicle with gas stations, it's probably like a 10-hour trip. It ended up taking us closer to like almost 16 hours. And we ran into every issue you possibly could run into. The first charger, I thought I had it was a fast charger, but it only charged at 40 kilowatts an hour when I was expecting 300. And then we found a Tesla charger, and then the app wouldn't work and it wouldn't connect. I finally got that to happen. Then we went to another I was like, we learned our lesson. We're only going to Tesla charging stations from now. Went to the next one, and it didn't allow any vehicles that were non-Teslas to charge. I wasn't using the app properly. So I was almost stuck. And then a GM charger across the street is what bailed us out, and so it was this constant like range anxiety and frustration and realization.
All those things, right?
I got the full experience. And we finally made it home, and, it was a long day, but it was a memorable experience. Made a great video about it that did super well, because I think a lot of people are curious. Now, since then, I haven't taken any long trips, and I've owned it for 60 days, no long trips. And it's been an amazing experience. I haven't had to stop at a gas station. I charge at work. I don't even charge at home. I have a charger at the office actually, I haven't released this content yet. I told Kyle about it. I went in an Advanced Auto Parts 2 days ago to buy some license plate screws. And I walk in, and there's a guy leaning against the desk, and he looks at me. He's like, couldn't handle the V8, huh? Dragging on the electric pickup truck. And I said to him, do you want to drive it? He's like, no, I don't want to drive. I was like, oh, you're just going to throw shade at it, but you don't want to drive it. He's like, okay, I'll drive it. So we literally got in the car, and turns out he's the general manager of the store, and he's only owned F-150s his entire life. and he fell in love with it. He's like, I think I need to get one of these. And so like I videoed the whole thing, but that's why I was late to a meeting a couple days ago.
That's so cool, man. Yeah.
He decided to make it an extended test drive. Like he gets on the highway. I'm like, I know where the next exit is. We're in the thing for a while.
That's
Did
wild.
you start out that way? Because early, and I've done some stuff with, AI and chat and all that kind of stuff and EVs. I started out not being, I'm much more open. It's just because I have a lot more information now. And a couple of times people said, man, you were like a real hater of EVs. Well, I changed my mind because I got more information, and that's okay to do that. And did it start out that way with you guys too?
I was skeptic, and especially on all of the, like, the more information I saw about, like, is it actually good for the environment? The more I was just like, this is just it's just kind of a scam.
Yeah.
And so like that really turned me sour on it from the beginning. But as I learned more and as I drove them and as I started to accept, like, hey, like there's a lot of room for multiple drivetrains and this is just a fantastic option. I
think that's the big thing is like there's room for multiple drivetrains.
Yes,
different people want different. I had a Leaf in like 2011, so
I was one of the earliest adopters of EV.
Super early adopter of that stuff.
That's early.
Way early.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for us at that point, it was amazing. And look, I don't care if you're in a Nissan Leaf, an F-150 Lightning, or a Cybertruck. Every single one is fun to drive because the minute you put your foot on the accelerator, it goes. Like it goes. Yep. And so they're just fun. They're like an EV is fun to drive. And I think until you really get in one and experience it, and especially some of the technology that they dump in them because they have thought of it from a technology first perspective, like it totally changes your perspective now. If you're,
my wife loves it.
Yeah,
she loves it. I taught her, like, she picked up one pedal driving super fast. And now she's asking me, can I take your car? And she's got a really nice car to drive, but she's always asking if she can take it just because she loves driving the EV.
There you go.
It is. Yeah. It's, I think a lot of people up front felt, depending on who you were, felt like it was being forced down your throat or something.
Absolutely.
So, and I know we don't have much time. So Kyle, when AI is doing the storytelling, it's obvious, AI clearly writes too perfectly, stays too cleanly in lines, and not much personality. Have you experimented with it, and what have you noticed? Great question, Charity.
Yeah, I would say I'm less of an experimenter, and I am a user.
You're proficient at it now.
Yeah, if I didn't have access to it at this point, my pace of my day would just be different, right? Like it's opened up a new node of work pace. And I leverage it for all of the tasks that would have taken me, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, or imagination generation, right? Like, how do I begin with an idea? Like I take an idea and I can initiate that idea into like new thoughts really, really quickly and, or distill large sets of information and consume them very quickly. But yeah, there is a definite fear in the echo chamber of AI, right? And now that like GPT and Gemini have access to your entire chat history, you start to think like, oh, what happens if I don't create native content and not fill it with like my net new ideas? I now become the same thing that social. Right? Yeah, it's a copy of a copy. But there are definitely ways to get creative out of GPT or any AI solution when it comes to things like writing. But there's dangers, but there's slippery slopes with like any technology or any use outside of your own brain. But I think using it more and understanding it is extremely important right now. The biggest thing that I watch out for with people when I'm talking to AI is a misunderstanding of its origin. Absolutely. Or how it's connected, right? And what's exposed. Because I'm watching people like was in a dealership and someone's on a free plan uploading customer lists, right? And I'm like, no. Yeah. Like, please stop, right? And so I think that the training and education necessary within the store, like it's another software cost, right?
Yep.
you should expect that some AI in your store, not an external like company that's using AI, right? A tool or software that you use, but like in your store, you should tell your people or in your organization, this is our primary conversational AI. I don't care if it's Gemini or GPT or any, Anthropic or anything like that. Whatever it is, make a decision and pay for a license for every employee. Even if it's $1,000 a month so that every employee has access to it. You don't want that data, those conversations, those things going outside, and you don't want them having access to it after they leave your company. It's just like having an email login at this point, in my perspective.
Or a lockdown CRM or anything like that.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we're about out of time. Charity, let me ask this. And what have you guys noticed about the automotive industry this year? And what do you see coming in the coming months in the automotive industry?
I feel like it's a lot more of the same. As much as like tariffs are a new thing that we're trying to deal with, and I still think that it's just the flavor of the week or the flavor of the year. Over the last 4 years, we've seen dealers take in these unprecedented things and figure out how to build and leverage. In fact, actually, I think we're so much more prepared for this. Like the tariff thing is a disruption, but compared to COVID, compared to having no inventory, right? It just feels like the resilience that has been built in the folks who are leading is so apparent in this era of the auto industry that people are like, okay, it's a big deal, but I don't see any panic. I see pivoting. I see people very quickly. Like I actually haven't heard the word tariff from a dealer in all of our closed conversations. They're talking about operational efficiency
this whole week. And we've had I think 4 dealers on content and probably another 5 to 6.
Didn't even come up.
No. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest surprise is that, in the actual conversations, not in the broad kind of like fear mongering side of the business, or maybe not fear mongering, but just like, you kind of give the people what they're looking for and everyone's thinking about, let's give them tariff content. I think dealers are focusing on leveraging technology, streamlining operations, becoming better places.
Absolutely.
And better contributors to the community. So I think this era, I do believe that the next years are going to be our best years ever as an industry in seeing quality of life for people who are working in a dealership and upward mobility and community involvement. I think we're about to hit a renaissance period in the auto industry because
I love it.
The new attention to it and the next generation who is coming in with this mentality already. And so I think that's what I see.
Yep. That's a great perspective and insight. Charity?
Well, we are out of time, guys. So we'll ask you the final question, which is, are there any questions that we didn't ask you today that you wish we had?
Or whatever you want to say. Or whatever.
No, we aren't brothers.
No, I was going to
ask. Okay. All right.
I mind my own business.
Yes, we have both worn flat bills for much longer than we've known each other.
Yeah.
And yes, we're passionate about this industry such that we believe that this industry is the single greatest retail industry in the US, and that more people should know about it as a career path and a great business to do business with. And we're so passionate about it that we put that into every single day, every single thing we do. So whether it be ASOTU Con, an industry specific event, or More Than Cars, something that consumers, your friends, your families can look at and say, oh, wow, that's the industry you're a part of. That's really cool. I might want to be a part of it. What if a revolution in retail comes from the auto industry? Yes. And I think it can be it can be the case.
Absolutely. Paul?
No, he said it best. I can't top that.
No, I got to tell you, you guys are thinking outside the box. You're the go-to for a lot of information. Everybody respects who you are, what you stand for, and what you do, and the people you interact with. And for everybody out there, make sure you tune in. You'll know about it. But guys, we're so humbled, honored, and grateful to have you on a very successful WTF. And that's what the FixedOPS to all you out there. So tune in, like them, love them, share them, comments, whatever. Just get engaged. And there's still time to get tickets to ASOTU Con, right?
That's right.
Get them. I'm telling you. Yeah, no. I'm telling you. I went. I understand what it's like. I've been to all the conferences too. This is not that. So I expect to see you there. Thank you, Charity. Thank you, Patrick, for all that you do. And thank you, gentlemen, for coming on today and sharing a little bit of who you are and what you do.
Thank you,
Thanks
guys.
so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.